Just start recording. I don't care anymore.
All right. So can everyone hear me?
Yes.
All right.
Start recording. Just go. Just go.
Hello and welcome to the Video Gamer UK podcast. This is the last podcast we record before we head out to E3.
E3!
And everyone's just got a little bit excited in here.
I'm not excited.
Like you can barely contain that excitement, Simon. You're laughing, you're smiling, you're having a good time. E3 is on the horizon. Another big year for Video Gamer.
It's the E-triple dizzle.
There it is.
I told you before that doesn't really make sense.
No, it makes perfect sense.
I thought we were going to get introductions.
I was going to, but then everyone.
I was waiting to be introduced.
Jeez.
Steve
Can you
told me
introduce
to.
us, please?
I kind of botched your intro slightly
Why?
because I was going to say he can barely contain his excitement for E3, and that led into a theme. For example, he can barely contain his rage and pure burning contempt towards the world. It's Stephen Burns, and then he can barely contain himself publicly. It's David Scammell.
Hang on, do you write these before we come in?
I have a.
You're reading something. I always thought they were off-the-cuff little jibes. Now, my opinion of you has changed.
Yeah, because I'm a fucking professional, Dave, and I come into this room prepared to podcast.
So this
like
podcast is
everyone else in this.
scripted. There you go. You heard it first.
Wait, I wrote down that line you just said.
This isn't boxing. This is WWE.
Exactly. Anyway, E3. Let's talk about it.
Look, I'm live and uncut. I ain't got no script.
Yeah.
Are you Eddie Murphy in the 80s?
He's drinking some weird pink liquid.
I always drink the pink liquid.
What's the pink liquid?
I think it's fruit and barley.
Okay.
You think
Although
it
the girls and guys at home...
Have you been playing tennis?
No.
That's what everyone used to drink, isn't it? Fruit and barley
Is it
Robinson.
fruit? Is that what it was?
Tennis
You've been-
adverts.
you've
Yep.
Really?
Suck it in by the
When
marketing
Tim
guy.
Henman was busy losing everywhere.
Little known fact about Tim Henman, because you just did it then as well. When
Go.
people say Tim Henman, they
Yep.
say Tin Henman, because it's easier to roll off the tongue than saying
Tim
Tim Henman. If you
I
say
think-
Tim Henman, you have to do a pause. You say Tin Henman, it just rolls off the
No.
tongue.
That is
Tim
a lie.
Henman.
That is a
Tim
lie.
Henman.
No,
I
it's
do
the
not believe
truth.
it.
That's
Tim
a fact.
Henman.
Timothy J.
Tim
Henmanio.
Henman.
If you
Tim
think about it,
Henman.
you'll do it. But if you do it, just do it. People always say Tim Henman.
I think about
Watch the
everything I say.
news. They
I've
all
never
do it.
done that.
They all do
Have you
it.
seen Tim Henman's dad? He looks exactly like George W. Bush.
Shit.
Seriously.
No,
This is some excellent
Seriously, he
Henman
does.
trivia.
He's going to be at E3,
Yeah,
Tim
is he?
Henman.
That's why,
Yep.
obviously, why we're talking
He is
about it.
releasing Tim Henman tennis for the PSP. And it's sponsored
only-
by Ariel.
He's had a slow few years, really.
He's only
hasn't he?
getting to the second day, though, then he's getting knocked out.
Oh,
Tim. You
Not-
shit, Tim.
Not even satire. It's too old to be satire.
Fuck you, Tim.
It's like the most
It's not
untopical
satire.
joke
How
in
is
the
that-
world.
How is that satire?
You know
It's
what I
just
mean.
Truth.
It's so untopical.
Right. What,
Retired tennis player Tim Henman won't make it to the second round of Wimbledon, a tournament that's not currently happening.
Yeah, where is Wimbledon, by the way?
Next month,
It's
isn't
still where it was, Dave.
2 months.
Yeah, that's
2 months.
Square is still there.
Oh.
Yeah,
I always thought it was
Square Enix.
May.
No, it's July, isn't it?
I don't know, whatever. It's
think
totally irrelevant to what we're talking
I had
about.
always fancied going along and like buying some strawberries and sitting out on the grass like all those.
Not
those,
on
those
Henman
cool
fucking
people
Hill
do.
or Murray Mound.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Fuck
Murray
off.
It's Henman Hill.
Fuck
This is where he
off.
This is where he disappears at night. He just goes sits on
don't
Henman Hill.
disappear
Go
at
Crackle
night.
Common.
Stop saying these
You
things.
disappear.
Strawberries at 2 a.m.
I don't understand. They sit on that fucking hill. Come on, Tim. Let's go, Murray. Fuck you.
That's why I haven't done it yet. But I've always liked the idea when it's
fuck
silly.
those idiots.
Anyway,
Probably insulting loads of people right,
Right, so-
now. Oh, well, they insult me.
So who's going to be at E3 apart from Tim?
Rafa Nadal? He's going to be there. He's going to be there. Roger Federer.
Along with his uncle.
Yeah.
I was going to say that everyone in this room is going to E3, but that's still a little bit up in the air at the moment because Dave's got some.
We're
No,
gonna
we're
have a
cutting
wonderful
this.
occasion.
I'm not even running the risk. We're cutting this segment
the
entirely.
US Embassy is going to be listening to this podcast.
Right, this
They might be
entire bit is
You've
being
been
cut.
watching too much TV, Dave.
Who do you think right now they're tapping in Jack Bauer?
They've heard
Jack
it.
Bauer's on
I've
the
been playing
case.
Watch Dogs. I know how this shit goes.
Yep.
Oh,
Well,
is that what this is? Is this Watch Dogs paranoid?
We are seriously cutting this bit. I'm not having
of
this.
course we are. Of course we are. It's already cut, Dave. I'm just.
Let's talk about E3.
Yes.
Not getting into E3, 3E.
Well,
Not who's not going to be there.
No.
E3, games, excitement.
Yep.
Go, Dave.
see.
What are you excited about seeing?
I don't know. Come back to me in a minute.
Dave's just
Let's talk about the
discussing
Microsoft conference.
I-
What's going to be at the Microsoft conference, everybody?
Tails
they
between
need
legs.
something fucking real good because I think this is for out of all the big three, it's the most important year for Microsoft, right? Because they need
Yeah.
to
Nintendo,
need to
surely.
pull it back.
Nintendo needs to sell consoles.
But Nintendo don't necessarily play the E3 game anymore.
That's true.
I think in terms of E3 and the pizzazz and all the brouhaha about it, I think that Microsoft need to...
Nintendo, they're the people that are getting it right. For a company that don't understand the internet, they're streaming.
yeah.
Why don't they all do that? Why is E3 still a thing?
Yeah.
It's 2014. It should be like some digital age where you kind of zap yourself into a holodeck and then you walk around I don't know.
So what's going to be there? What's going to be at Microsoft? It's going to be Forza Horizon 2, Sunset Overdrive.
There'll be a
Halo
trailer
2.
for Halo 5, and there'll be the proper announcement for Halo 2 Anniversary Edition, and then that'll be hands-on, maybe.
Okay, none of this is really making me go, shit, right, okay, now I need an Xbox One.
They'll probably show a trailer for Gears of War, I'd imagine.
There might be a teaser. Call of Duty will be there.
You reckon Gears of War's going to...
Well, they had the Black Tusk teaser last year, didn't they? So now they actually have a thing.
Yeah, but I feel like Gears is too far away.
Yeah, but they want to tease it. Literally, I'm talking like 30 seconds. And Marcus Fintz will come on screen and go, "Rrr." And look, that's all I need. That'll get me excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
But I'm literally talking one of those, when someone comes out and masturbates over bollocks we don't care about for 10 minutes.
Yeah, but imagine if something...
And then walks off stage and a trailer which goes...
Yeah, but what if it's something like people totally aren't expecting? Like...
Wars of Gear.
Perfect Dark.
I think that's happening, isn't it? Isn't that a thing?
Is it?
I thought they're doing new Perfect Dark.
Are they?
I think so.
Oh, well. Okay, fair enough.
Well done.
I think that's true. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know.
I don't know.
You tell me.
Well, Rare, presumably, they might tease
But who wants that? Who wants Perfect Dark game
I'd love a new
now?
Perfect Dark.
No, you wouldn't.
And I'd love New Conquer.
You'd love a new Perfect Dark game.
Yeah, I'd play New Perfect Dark, yeah.
That's okay. Now you've changed your sentence
Why?
slightly. You'd play it. I'd play it. But
Why would you love it?
Because I
like
love
arrows on the
Perfect
floor?
Dark on 64.
Yeah, but do you like Perfect Dark Zero?
Not as much.
Well, they'd have,
Yeah,
they'd
surely
have
it'd be
to
more
change
like
it
that.
drastically to make it work compared to
Why?
other first-person shooters now. Have you played Perfect Dark Zero recently? That
No.
game plays really, really old.
No, I know, but
Like,
imagine they could do a lot of stuff with the sci-fi stuff. They could make it a bit
But
more...
does anybody care
why
about
do they
Joanna
need-
Dark
yeah,
anymore?
why
I don't
do they
think
need
they
that
do.
franchise
Yeah.
for it?
I think Perfect Dark was probably still a recognisable name. No?
I think yes to a certain degree, but I don't think enough to justify
Sell more than
bringing
bloody
it back.
Banjo-Kazooie would.
Well, yeah, probably. But if you came up with New Shooter 7, I don't think Joanna Dark has any relevance anymore. The last game she did was 8
Perfect Dark
years
Zero,
ago,
yeah.
Yep.
and it was terrible. So I don't really know what they could do to
I don't know. I don't
make
know.
it exciting.
I don't think that's not the game. Already, this reaction proves that's not the game to kind of
Really?
get people inspired.
If it was there, I would be like, wow, awesome.
Wow. David Scammell.
They might tease
Wow.
Crackdown 3, maybe.
Yeah, they'll probably do that.
Yeah, that'll be there.
I'd imagine.
But I don't think Microsoft's. This seems like a counterintuitive statement, but is it all about the games, or is it more about Microsoft now going, okay, well,
Microsoft
think-
will be all about the
I think
games.
it's got to be, hasn't it? 'Cause
yeah,
they-
but
they
they'll
backtracked
have a
on
bit
the-
at the start, I think, where they'll go, yeah, they won't say it like this. Basically, Phil Spencer will come out. He'll be wearing a suit jacket over a game T-shirt.
State of
which
Decay
is-
Xbox
which
One.
is wrong. It's wrong on all levels, but we'll let him go. And he'll say he'll do that thing where he kind of
Should be a Step Brothers
his
t-shirt.
back is so like straight. He kind of like jabs his hand and goes, while he's looking into the distance like he's looking at the moon or something. And this year, it's all about the games.
Nice.
And then there'll be a big montage, and it'll be like
of games.
Crackdown, blah 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 blah.
Set to Fatboy Slim.
But do they have I don't know. Do they have enough of those big games to get people excited? Saw Halo last year where he's wearing a cloak for no apparent reason. It's like, oh, and the cloak comes off. Like,
He's a Jedi now.
I think they will have
kind of
more
enjoyed
than
that.
Sony will have. Let's put it that way.
Sony's just going to be them going,
Yeah.
bison laugh for about well, how long were we in there for last year, Miller?
I really don't want to go to the Sony conference this year.
We were in there for about
They
4
do
or
not
5
know,
hours.
They do not know how to host. Fuck me, they don't know how to host. It's so long and boring and drawn out. Like, just at least Microsoft is always the best conference, always. Because
Sony's was ace last year, I thought.
No, it wasn't. You weren't there.
sitting in
No,
there.
You
but
weren't
as in
seeing
watching
it.
it from it.
You were. They're so
Well, this is the thing,
long-winded and slow.
Well, people only see the actual conferences. They don't see the actual what we have to do beforehand to
how is
actually
it
get into
different
them.
then? Like,
Well, it's just Microsoft's just slicker. Their present is shorter as well. Sony's goes on for like 3 hours. Microsoft do theirs in about what, an hour, just under
Yeah.
sometimes.
It's
Get it out.
glacial at Sony.
Sony really enjoy getting their penises out and going, "Oh, we've done so well." When Microsoft just go, "Here's a bunch of shit."
Well, so
I'm
Microsoft
hoping-
can't really say it, can they?
Yeah.
that's true.
I'm hoping that changes though, because we were at the Garland Centre last year for Microsoft, and people filed out of there. That was when Michael Pachter touched my hand, just for a bit of insight there.
Nice,
but by accident. All right, just in case you're thinking that Michael Pachter came on to me, which he didn't anyway.
right.
I predict
So
that he did.
So we were filing out. People were like, shit, that wasn't very good at all, was it? And then we got to Sony, and Jack Tretton was swanning around, like, to steal a phrase from Swiss Tony, like a man with two cocks. He was enjoying himself up there. And I think that's why it took so long, because everything took forever, because he was just smiling.
Yeah.
The whoop and the hollering.
Getting ready for his big moment.
It was like a Ric Flair entrance.
My favourite part about that conference was we're going to release the same consoles we did before, but it's a bit more powerful. Yeah. Microsoft go try this new stuff. Fuck you heathens. I'll kill you. That is literally what happened last year. But
Tretton won't be there this year, will he?
No, Tretton won't be there. So
neither will Matrix. Like, new era.
Andrew House will be taking
the big
I presume,
boys
will be taking the.
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
No.
They
I mean,
normally
Sony
leave
will-
all
Well, he'll have
Gamescom.
like an expanded presence.
It's their new. I can't remember his name, but they have replaced
Bob
Tretton
Costas.
with someone else, haven't they? So that'll be him.
Sony will have The Last of Us remastered. That'll be there. They'll show off Uncharted 4. They'll show off...
There'll be something for the order.
Yeah, they'll show off something secret that we can't talk about.
They'll see the word indie games several times.
The indie game section last year went on for days.
They'll pretend that Move never exists.
Well,
And it
Beast
has
has
worked
to
out
be
for
there,
them,
doesn't it?
hasn't
it?
Like,
It has
that's been
worked out,
rumoured
but-
like crazy.
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
What's that?
Beast has to be there.
Project Beast.
Beast?
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what you're talking about, bruv.
And God of War, I imagine there might be a little
Oh,
teaser.
yeah, God of War,
Just
yeah.
like the Microsoft may tease Gears, I imagine Sony might tease God of War.
What is that game going to be about? Is it going to be Kratos just sitting on Earth going, well, killed everyone?
They're gonna
Now I'm just going to wait out.
steal the plot from the Gladiator sequel, the Gladiator sequel that was never made, where when Maximus is killed at the end, he makes a deal with the gods and then gets reincarnated and lives throughout the rest of history,
Excellent.
fighting in like Vietnam and stuff. As a
Oh
CIA
god, this is
agent.
incredible.
What's that from?
That was the proposed Gladiator 2 sequel that Nick Cave wrote, and Ridley Scott really wanted
Of the
to
Bad
make-
Seeds?
Yeah, and Ridley Scott really wanted to make it. But they were like, this movie's going to cost like $9 billion.
And be terrible.
You know that first, first movie had
Russell Crowe, just in the 70s, still as Maximus. But yeah, why not?
God.
God of War in the future. Why not? Why not?
Well, they were doing
I
a
tell you
sci-fi
right
game, weren't they, apparently?
now, if fucking Kratos, if there's a trailer and it's
Kratos is
New
back.
York City, if it's New York
it's gonna be
City,
New York City.
and Kratos is New York City, I will walk out and I'll make so much noise that I will disrupt that
He'll
conference.
be wearing a suit. It'll be one of those ill-fitting American suits that look like boxes.
Well, and
it'll
his suit's going to be
like
ill-fitting.
it'll pan
Look at
up
that chair.
the camera and it'd be like New York.
He's got a
present day.
briefcase
Yeah.
with his fucking weird weapons in it,
Yeah.
whether those things are blades.
And then bang. But hold on, let's talk about other games that aren't.
What
that.
what if he looks right in the camera and goes, Kartos is back?
Ryan King,
Lobs a car.
friend of VideoGamer Ryan King, would die of a heart attack immediately.
Have we told the Kartos is back story?
Have we done Kartos is back?
I don't think we have on the
What was it?
podcast.
Official PlayStation or PSN?
I think it was PSW.
Basically, an old magazine wrote on their cover, Kartos is back. There's lots of typos, and Kartos is back was.
Didn't
was
they
one
also
of them.
do, for the reveal of True Crime, Streets of Hong Kong?
Yeah,
What, as in this made it into the final print?
yeah, typos they missed. Like Play magazine, when Grand Theft Auto 4 came out, had a big double-page spread at the back saying next month Grand Theft Auto 6 because they flipped the image and hadn't realised they flipped the thing.
That's incredible.
Sometimes something like people will just still tweet that, and everyone's like,
It brings a smile to your
everyone
face.
involved just goes, oh,
My favourite is Kartos is back.
Kartos, because
Kartos is
the
back.
big exclamation of it, Kartos.
You get small ones as well. Like somebody on a big cover had Pro EOV 12 they had. Yeah, it happens.
Some stuff I wrote that went into sub. We didn't have the full details of the game. It was a preview, and we were waiting for the publisher to send over like a fact sheet with some of the details. So I just wrote in brackets. I was like, the game will have, and then in brackets, note to sub, blah blah blah. This will be filled in. That went in.
Yeah, you always get screenshots saying please fill in caption. You always get that.
Excellent.
It happens. But Kartos is back is the best.
But what about Assassin's Creed? Who's going to be showing that, if anyone? As in
Sony.
yeah.
It's always Sony, right? With you?
Well, they'll break it up,
And then
won't they? Surely Sony will show off the PS3 one, then Ubisoft will show the PS4 one at their conference.
I would say the other way around.
Maybe.
I don't know why Sony would be pushing a PS3 game hard.
There's adverts for PS3s everywhere at the moment.
And Advanced
Destiny's
Warfare.
going to show up at one of them as well, right?
Oh, Destiny will be at Sony.
PS4,
Yeah.
Sony, yeah.
I'm worried about Destiny. Not because
Is it because it's been coming out for 72 years?
Yeah, not because I don't necessarily think it'll be a good game, but just because I think it's getting a bit to Watch Dogs level of saturation where it's not as bad as that with the constant trailers, but people are seeing Destiny and they're not reporting amazing things about it. And it's a very difficult game to show off. There was that Kotaku piece where it said the headline was, "I saw Destiny and it was kind of boring." That's a pretty damning headline for a game that's apparently cost $1 trillion. And I just think it's such a difficult game to show off. Didn't Sony show it last year at their...
Yeah, for about 7 hours.
Yeah, and it's one of those games that people have to play, but again, you have to hype it. So I think they're in danger there of it becoming a bit of a non-event, of it just being the game that lurks in the background and never really gets any
Well, they'll make
good
sure it
hands-on.
isn't in terms of marketing. But
in terms
I think
of
Destiny's going to be boring.
right.
I think it'll be boring. I think it'll be a little bit dull. A little dry. I think it'll be dry. But Halo 3 was dry. All Halo games are dry.
But they're like, in terms of the gameplay, Bungie, I've got a lot of trust that they can make something that I'm going to be entertained by. I said this before, I never really got into the Halo storyline, and yet Halo still remains one of my favourite franchises.
the problem with Destiny is that I feel like I already know exactly what it's going to play like, exactly what it's going to be. It's just me, Halo and Borderlands, right? And what else? What more is there to it? I don't know.
Yeah, man.
It lacks that buzz. It lacks a bit of excitement.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think it had that. I think it had that buzz. I think that buzz was also damaged from the get go when they had that. Did you go to this, Dave? That ridiculous press event in America
No,
where people flew over and they were like, "Oh, you're going to see Destiny? Great!" And it was about 5 minutes something of a trailer. And like, you're joking, right? Like you could have just emailed that to me.
They need to show more of how the space stuff works, like the traveling to different planets and all that.
Yeah, we know how the shooting works, right? We know how the exploration
at the moment,
works.
all we know is you're shooting on a planet.
It's also really difficult because if you only see 30 minutes of that game and it's not your character and it's not your friends that you're playing with, and you will have, it's kind of like being introduced to an MMO for the first time.
Yeah,
it's very difficult to show off what that's about until you sink some time into it.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how they showcase that. I don't think the stuff they've showed off so far has necessarily done that justice. It does just kind of look like Borderlands meets Halo in some respect.
That'll be there. And then there'll be Advanced Warfighter will be at Microsoft.
Warfighter?
And
Warfare. Sorry.
Ghost Recon Advanced Warfare.
Is that coming back?
Yeah.
They're good games. I miss those games. I like Graw and Graw 2 really good.
Yeah. I remember my friend buying a 360 and the games he got with it were Fight Night and Graw.
Graw looked amazing as well. Oh man, Graw is so good.
It'd be interesting what Ubisoft has, because I have a feeling they might show off something that we don't know about yet. I don't know what that could be.
The equivalent of the Division. Coming out next year.
No, exactly.
In 2032.
Do you reckon we're going to see the Division?
Well,
Yeah,
they'll show
the
the Division will
Division.
be there, yeah.
They'll show off the
what
Division. They'll show off Assassin's Creed. They'll
Far Cry
show
will be
off
there.
Far Cry. They'll show off.
is the Division going to be
The Crew?
Again. Is it going to do that Watch Dogs thing where that first gameplay demo they showed
it's
was
not gonna look
incredible?
like that.
It'd be so disappointing if that.
I think Division's going to be
Steps
rubbish.
Do you?
No, I'm just saying it to wind people up. I have no idea.
I think
I just know when I said that at least 1,000 people went, "You fucking piece of shit."
I think it sounds absolutely.
Well, it's
ace,
one of
but
those that
it's just-
it could be another Watch Dogs. That's exactly.
But this is the point about Ubisoft games is that they all feel the same. And in my review of Watch Dogs, I said you could just call it Ubisoft Open World Game Chicago Edition, and I don't want the Division to be Ubisoft Open World
Well, I think
Game.
that I feel like they are moving.
I
in
would
a different
say-
direction
Really?
with the Division.
No, I would
think
say,
so.
given that Watch Dogs has sold 4 million copies, it's going to be very similar to
But it's got
other games.
persistent multiplayer. That's got to change how
Yeah,
that game
but
works.
Watch Dogs had something like that originally, and then that's not how it turned out to be at all. They told us it's got persistence multiplayer, but they said that's how Watch Dogs was going to work. Well, that's how they hinted Watch Dogs?
Watch Dogs?
Watch Dogs
I
was
think
going
you
to
actually
work.
said that
Hedge
3
dogs.
different ways.
Yeah, Hot Dog. That's how they said Hot Dog was going to work, and it wasn't. It was the multiplayer became like, yeah, whatever, I don't care.
My player's
so
good
could-
in Watch Dogs.
But it's
isn't.
not what it's not what I hinted at
Right,
first,
yeah.
though.
Yeah.
So they could easily do that
The
with
Division
Division.
could be amazing. It could be, again, similar to Homefronter. It could be Freedom Fighters too. And it could be incredible if the persistence is there. And it does look how they showed it off and the other mechanics come into play. But my problem is I'm starting to become really bored of the go here, unlock thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems that everything is a slave to that sort of gameplay.
Yeah.
In Ubisoft games.
You're a slave.
Speaking of which, I think that they've got to, being Ubisoft, got to make a really good impression with Far Cry 4 because they've had such drama and controversy over their main character. I think that as soon as that came out, when the box art was revealed, when the game was revealed, that they may have changed the trailer, may have changed the tone of the trailer to get, because the creative director, I think, had to tweet saying, to clarify, he's not white, he is the villain. So they didn't communicate very well to begin with, and I think they've really got to nail it with Far Cry this time around. Otherwise...
But will that be their big reveal?
I don't think so.
Far Cry?
Yeah.
Just why not just keep
Is
it
that
back if it's going to be their big reveal?
Well, I think I have a theory, and I don't know if you've said this before on the podcast. I think they only announced Far Cry because it was their investors, wasn't it? They delayed the Division, and they needed something to put in for the end of the year. And I wonder if they only really announced Far Cry then because they had that delay.
Could be.
And they need to slot something in so it didn't affect the shares and all that. But
Could be.
I don't know. I mean, I would have thought maybe they have Rainbow Six, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, where happened to that? That did.
Well,
I would expect them to have something that we don't know about, but it could be anything at this point.
Press X to kiss wife.
Zombie U2.
I'd like Zombie U2.
Never happened.
Well, I'd like Zombie U2, but not on Wii U. I'd like it on on other consoles.
Zombie.
EA will show off Battlefield Hardline.
Yeah.
5 out of 10.
Oh,
look at that.
Don't
Look
you
at
guys
that.
think
Zing,
it's
zing,
going to be...
pat, pat.
We chatted about this in the office, that it might be a bit of a strange E3, especially like coming off the back of last year.
I think it's a bit disappointing, E3.
I think it, like I was saying to Dave earlier, it's kind of like a holding E3. It's like, this is what's coming later. Nintendo.
But we kind of thought that about last year's E3 as well.
But that had the consoles. So there
Yeah.
was always that buzz. And
But
there
who's
was
got
always the announcement of prices.
It just
and
never
stuff.
seems to happen now that a publisher announces a game at E3 that's going to come out end of the year.
No.
It's always a year and a half later.
And
I
all the
don't know
stuff
if they've got
that
the balls
was
to
meant-
do it.
Loads of stuff that was meant to come out is now delayed till next year. So
I think Konami with MGS. I think MGS will be big this year. I mean, the trailer they showed last year went on for quite a while. That was at Microsoft as well. And it was in Afghanistan, and they kind of play through. And then it had some of the stuff from the end, I believe, of Ground Zeroes. So there'll be more of that, much more of Metal Gear.
What games are you mostly looking forward to? Is that the one that you really want to see? I guess because you're a massive Metal Gear fan.
Yeah, I want to see Metal Gear. I always want to see Pez because I love Pez.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it hates me these days, it seems. But I always want to see Pez. Alien Isolation's going to be there. Hopefully what we'll see is different from what you and I have seen before, Chris, so we can... Because I'm really looking forward to that. I was a bit disappointed about some of the footage that came out, with pew-pewing, when really it should be hiding and stuff. So we'll hopefully get a better idea of what's going on there. But Ubisoft games, I think Ubisoft are going to have quite a cool conference. Their conferences
I always
cool.
enjoy the Ubisoft their press conferences are the most interesting ones to watch.
It's not games, well, it is games, but for me, I'm really interested to see how the platform holders react to their, 8 months or so in the next generation, and how
it's weird. We have, I guess, we haven't really talked about Sony that much because it just feels like they're in a safer position now.
I think they are in a safe position, but I don't think their lineup for the end of the year is going to be good enough.
They can't do what they did with the PS3 and get really cocky.
At the
Unless
moment, what they
Uncharted
got
4's
just
coming
Drive
out.
Club.
Unless they drop Uncharted 4 into the year.
They could do. I can't see
Who
it
knows?
happening.
No, I can't, but they made surprises. I don't know. Drive Club's not going to be a big seller, I don't think, though.
Well, it comes out with a free version on the same day as about 5 other major games. So,
But Sony, they might be just consolidating this year. Like a lot of publishers are just going, look, we've had a great first, however, 6, 8, 10 months.
Yeah,
whatever.
there'll be a lot of stats.
You can play The Last of Us. Maybe it's a bit too early for that, but I'd love an announcement of Gaikai or whatever it's called now.
PlayStation Now.
Just be like, pow, we're betaing this, kind of open beta. You can try it. That'd be great. And there probably will be some stuff about that. But yeah,
I actually really am looking forward to hearing about Project Beast if it is indeed a thing. That just because it's Miyazaki's.
It has to be a thing, doesn't it? It's all over the bloody internet.
It'd be very surprising if it isn't his secret project that he's been working on.
I don't know what.
Right, you have to cut that out. You cannot leave that in any stretch of the imagination. That has to go.
Can I leave that sentence in?
Yes.
Okay.
You can get rid of everything.
I think I'm most excited to see probably Far Cry, actually. I'd like to see what Forza looks like running. Because I think if that looks better than Drive Club visually, then Sony maybe they're like, oh, shit.
Do you reckon Dragon Age is going to be shown off in like.
Yeah, they'll show off.
That's just-
EA will show off
hands-on with that,
Hardline,
like-
Dragon Age. No, it won't be hands on.
Because that's what I really want to see.
I still think Dragon Age will be pushed into next year.
Yeah.
Like I really do.
It's just-
Do you?
Yeah, definitely.
Like these
I don't
screenshots
think
that
they can
we've seen
afford for it to be
recently
pushed in.
is like all we've heard about it since the preview. Really, like it's been.
It's
so
meant to be
quiet.
October, right? Same
Yeah.
as Drive Club.
Yeah,
October
it's
10th.
not
Same,
gonna
same
come
day as
out.
everything.
It won't come out. It just won't. I just got this feeling. And let's say last time I said this about Batman, everyone, oh, you stupid idiot. It's not true. Well, what happened yesterday, friends? It got pushed back. Sometimes maybe listen to what I say. Maybe read between the lines.
I don't know, man. You've said some pretty outrageous things.
Look, proof is in the pudding. Cheesecake.
Will EA have a surprise?
Yes. At least 2.
Really?
And
Mass
they're going to
Effect,
show
do you
off
think?
Battlefront as well, aren't they? Star Wars Battlefront.
Battlefront will be there. I don't know what the
Mirror's
show
Edge
of it.
is that
No,
going
I
to
don't
be
think
something
I
we
don't
see
know
anything
show
of?
that.
Mirror's Edge is still too far off. I don't know if they'll tease a new Mass Effect. They may do that.
Yeah, they'll
But-
do that probably, I think.
Oh man, yeah. So
I think I'm bored of Mass Effect now.
I'm just interested to see what they
Without
do with it.
Without Commander Shepard, I'm not that
Exactly. I
fussed.
think that's what they've got to tackle, though, isn't it? That's the interesting part. Like, what do they do? It can't be Commander Shepard's story.
Well, I don't think it will it? They've
can't-
already
yeah,
said
They've already
yeah,
said that it's not
they've
going to
already
be
said
him.
it,
yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just don't want to play Mass Effect game without. I'd rather they started something fresh. Do you know what I mean? Rather than put Mass Effect on it.
Yeah, maybe.
Because as soon as you put Mass Effect, you got the connotations of before. I'd rather just take that idea and make something else. Effect of mass or something. I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I think like Battlefield was going to be their big thing, wasn't it? I think, and they've kind of had to.
I hope we see
already.
something like that. That leaked footage was.
It looks like a mod to me. Me and
Yeah.
Tom were talking about
Yeah.
this.
I just think it looks really bad. I mean, I know.
I like the concept of it, and I like how mobile it looks. The grappling hooks, the zip lines and stuff. If you can use that with some degree of freedom.
I love Battlefield, and I'm not all that excited for this. When the rumours first came out, it's going to be a SWAT type game,
Yeah.
cops and robbers. I thought that could be all right, but it's a Battlefield game without tanks in it. Well, that's not a Battlefield game, then, is it?
Scammell likes the tanks.
I like the
What can we
tanks.
say?
Scammell
I guess
loves
we'll see Dead Space 4 this year as well. After all the hoo-ha,
course.
I guess it must be the arrival of Dead Space 4.
Peter Moore will walk on stage. Fuck you, video game.
Must be,
Fuck you,
otherwise,
David Scammell.
you know, we're liars.
Space.
So the only way to prove that we're liars is to show us why we were lying. I haven't seen anything so far. I haven't seen anything.
Oh God, your voice
Yeah.
has gone there, sorry, mate.
You know, well, I'm sure we'll be seeing it.
We have to.
Because it's not like the guys that made it aren't off on other things.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll definitely see that. That'll be good. Dante's Inferno 2.
Oh
Let's
yeah,
see that
that's
game.
going to be amazing.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Wolverine Adamantium Rage 2.
Yep.
Yeah. Zero
All
Tolerance
the
2.
names. They're going to steal the show.
They are.
With these kind of
Yeah. Accolade is going to come back from the dead.
Okay. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. Dragon Age Inquisition. That's the one I want to see. All those.
What about The Witcher?
Yes. Oh yeah. I was thinking more.
Game
press
of the show
conferences.
last year.
Yeah.
For this very establishment.
They've already said, right? Wait a minute. I might have to check this. The fact they're doing a 45-minute gameplay presentation in the same fashion as last year. They've said that they're doing that. That's public knowledge,
They're
right?
doing something this week, aren't they?
You can say that. That's fine.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Well.
Big company is showing big game at E3. That's okay.
Yeah. But it'll be in the same fashion as
No one's playing it.
as last year. Yeah. It was really really impressive to watch, but I don't know. I'm a little bit disappointed that it's that again. I would have liked to once you get hands on is kind of a big difference for that game. I came out of The Witcher 3 last year. We gave it Game of the Show, but you don't know how much of that is scripted. Like there was loads of cool moments in this big open world that
I'm going to go with all of it.
that fit together really really nicely. Of course they did. So I don't know what that actual final.
Do you remember when they
product
showed
looks like.
the Watch Dogs demos off about 3 times, and all of that stuff just flowed really well together? You
Yeah.
hacked the stuff, chased the guy, jumped on the train, off he went.
Yep.
I played Watch Dogs for about 30 hours. That's never happened to me.
I am shocked to my core.
You know, we haven't spoken about yet. Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Oh, woohoo! It's
Yeah.
me.
Zelda, Metroid.
Zelda got to be 100% Zelda. If Zelda is not there, we got a riot.
I
man.
Should we
I
just
just
fly home
assumed
immediately?
that their whole direct thing would be like Luigi gifs on repeat, saying thank you for liking.
They'll
Mario
definitely do
Kart.
something incredibly unfunny with the Death
About
Stare.
that, yeah.
That'd be awful.
Oh, they'll kill it.
Yeah.
We'll never be able to find that amusing again.
But
They'll probably
yeah, I
like
think
get Iwata to recreate it. Driving
have
along
to-
in a BMW.
I'm worried their
Oh,
big
God,
game is
yeah.
going to be Smash Brothers, but their
Well,
big game
they're-
has to be Zelda.
they're doing
Has
a,
to be
uh,
Zelda.
Oh, what's it, aren't they?
Tournament.
A tournament. What's it called? Is it the
Well, they're doing
Invitational,
a-
isn't it? The Smash Brothers Invitational with some players from the Smash
Who
Brothers
cares?
community. Smash Brothers people, I
Yeah,
guess.
no.
Smash Bros, boys.
Smash Bros.
People
But
love
yeah,
it.
if their big game isn't Zelda and they push Smash Brothers too hard, that'd be That'd be sad.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be sad.
Do you think they're going to use their Nintendo Direct to be a bit... Because they've been a bit on the defensive recently, and they've had to have been. Walter's made some statements, about how the company's not doing what he wants it to do, obviously. So do you think they're going to take the success of Mario Kart?
I think it
say,
depends
hey,
when they filmed it. If they're filming it this week, I think they'll be buzzing. But
It's true.
But it's going to be interesting because Nintendo are now at not a crossroads, but they're at an interesting point where they've had a big hit, they've had success, they've had the game that really probably should have launched way back when, and for whatever reason it didn't. So now they've got to ask themselves the question, how far do they push games that might not be out for the foreseeable? So Zelda is, if there's not a Zelda, like you say, Miller, I think they will be rioting. But they need to capitalise on the momentum that they've got, no matter how slight it may be.
what have they got for this year that they've announced? Bayonetta,
Smash Bros.
Smash Bros.
Smash Bros.
That's it.
But if they can pace them out with releases, so let's say Bayonetta is August, September, Smash Brothers is October, November, at least then they've got a kind of solid foundation for the rest of the
Zelda
year. to a
like end of
degree.
November or something.
Do you think Zelda will be this year?
It's gotta be.
I don't
think
know
it
if
has
Zelda.
to be.
I don't think.
I'm not
about
sure
that.
it will, but I think
Smash Brothers is their big
realistically, it
Christmas
has to
game,
be.
You
surely.
cannot eke Zelda stuff over a year. You can't do it. Like, you just gotta get it out.
I don't know.
They showed it off when they fucking showed off the Wii U, for goodness sake.
I can see it being like April, May game.
That'd be bad.
I think if they do that, you're right, man. They're in danger of losing the kind of, like I said, momentum that they've built, because Smash Brothers is a game that's beloved, even though I can't understand it. But
By a
it's
niche.
beloved by many, but it's not Zelda love. It's
I can
not
see
Mario Kart
Metroid
love.
being this year, but I can't see Zelda.
Even announced Metroid.
Well, yeah, but
I,
I
reckon it might
would
be there
put
as
bets
well.
on that being this year over a Zelda game, to be perfectly honest. But I don't know. Who knows?
But this is what we were saying, getting back to when you, Chris, asked me what I was most excited about, and I said it's kind of the reaction and the platform holders themselves, their attitudes. Sony can't afford to just do some laurel resting. Microsoft got a lot of ground to make up, even if it's just PR ground, and Nintendo got to capitalise. So
I think Microsoft have to come out quite humble, strip back the execs and all the exec business
Yeah.
talk.
because
and
they
be-
made some very bad blunders, like last year as well. As again, Miller and I were sitting in there, they had that Killer Instinct demo.
Oh God, I
with the-
forgot about that.
When
Yeah,
the guy was fighting that woman, and he said,
Didn't he make a sexist comment?
she said, "Oh, you're really beating me," or something, paraphrasing, and he said, "Oh, just don't worry about it, just take it." And everyone's like, "For fuck's sake!"
It's always so forced, isn't it?
Yeah,
Terrible.
and it's
It's
just
awful.
they need
I'm-
to just go, look, we are Microsoft is the most corporate entity on the planet. We just go, look, we fucked up. Here are some fucking games
Yeah,
you love.
That's got to be the focus, hasn't it? They backtracked.
they did that last year though. They were like E3, forget the TV shit. We know you hate it. It's all about the games.
Yeah, but
and then it was like Rise for 5 minutes. Everyone was like, oh.
No
Hey, I like Rise.
I thought Rise was all right, but everyone else didn't.
no matter what Don Matrick's past was or is, and like he's had an incredible past. He's made, he became a millionaire when he was like 17. He made the Test Drive series, the Hard Drive, or something like that. He knows games, but he just came across as a suit, and he's had this kind of weird demeanor, and he's obviously incredibly intelligent, but at the same time, he just wasn't coming across as someone who was representing what gamers wanted. And I think the whole TV thing damaged him, which is why he left. So Phil Spencer can start and go, look, I'm wearing a video game T-shirt, man.
I know you people.
I do agree.
You know me.
I do agree, but I do worry that maybe he is a bit of a fool guy.
Spencer?
No.
Oh, Matt Trick.
Matt Trick. And that even though he would have had the final say over the big decisions and stuff, it is a team that team is still there.
Well, I think...
Well, the thing he's left now, hasn't he? He went and worked for Sonos.
Nah, it's gone.
Oh.
I've deleted him.
Goodness
Yeah, he's
me.
dead now.
Mark Whitten. No?
That guy.
Unbelievable.
That guy. But you say about Microsoft, when you say about Matrick being a bit of a fool guy and having the decisions, in that book that I sometimes talk about, the Xbox 360 Uncloaked by Dean Takahashi, Ed Fries, who was the head of games at Xbox way back when, talks about the internal conflicts between people like Jay Allard, people like all the other guys that were running departments, because Microsoft is massive and there's a lot of money riding on it, and just the issues of getting what you want there and saying what you want to say without 6 other divisions going, well, if you say that, then it pushes out our strategy and blah, blah, blah. And the internal conflict was worse than the conflict with Sony, because they were fighting themselves, and you can't win when you're doing that. Which is why the original Xbox was was an interesting machine, but not a great one. Whereas they had all that experience come Xbox 360, and I think might be getting towards that sort of phase with Xbox One, because TV divisions are saying blah 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 blah. So it'll be interesting to see how Phil Spencer.
I do much prefer this year's Microsoft to last year's Microsoft.
Yeah, big time.
And I think Spencer has had a big impact in that. But
although,
like you say, it's corporate, and there are certain rules and there's certain ways that things are done.
Not because he's done anything to me, but because he body checked Simon Miller in the men's toilet. He apologised.
Gamescom 2013.
Gamescom 2013 did not apologise. Now that is not good. That's not good.
Another slight against VideoGamer. It's done. It's bullshit. One of the other things that they're going to have to try and change their approach to is Kinect, right? How much of that...
Will they even mention it?
They won't talk about Kinect at all.
Yeah, I don't think
they can't do that. You can't say fuck Kinect.
They might get harmonics on to just look at where we're up to.
Definitely won't get harmonics on. If they do, be half a guy, an arm will be thrown on stage. This is harmonics now. Just wave. Hello. I think it'll be completely sans Kinect, this presentation. Kinect's failed.
That takes. I'd be surprised if we didn't hear something from it, just because it's.
Oh, that's why they're mad. Keep going.
It's.
I just remember we threw things out the window. Right, sorry. Keep going. Carry on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's the reason.
A lot of people did buy that original Xbox One. A lot of people have Kinect. Surely there's some kind of, duty to keep supporting that.
They might have a cursory opening statement to say, we made mistakes. If you got in on the ground floor, we'll still support you. You still have this.
Do you know what they should do? They should start their conference with a funeral for Kinect. That would win so many people over. Had a little tiny casket with Kinect in there.
I think if they do talk about Kinect, they would keep it to an absolute bare minimum. You can still do this with your TV.
Yeah.
Because they're going to want to push the lower price point. Because doesn't that come into effect the day of their conference, I think? So they're going to want to say, it's without Kinect today. So
at least that means we won't have any boring. The amount of presentations last year that went on for like an hour, it's like, what we can do with Kinect, and everyone was like, "This is utter bollocks. No one's going to do this."
The Kinect demos are incredible. They're so shit. It's brilliant to watch. Like watching someone being paid to pretend to play Kinect is my favourite thing about E3. A lot of the time, it's excellent.
You're a sad man.
It's so fun.
The first time they showed Kinect, the original Kinect, it was really exciting though. Yeah. Milo and Kate.
Yeah.
The first time they showed.
Toodles or whatever it was.
The new Kinect was exciting. I think that it was an obvious step forwards in technology. The games haven't backed that up, but the actual stuff they showed off with it was really cool.
Remember they showed all that demo where like the guy scanning his skateboard in or whatever.
Yeah, it's all bollocks.
And then like the girl standing in front flipping through like a clothes catalogue and putting clothes on herself and stuff. All that.
The best thing about that E3 though, about the Kinect reveal, wasn't Molyneux really doing the best wide-eyed Molyneux that he can, and this is the future, and not the kind of cool tech, but it was when Sony had their conference, and instead of having like Peter Molyneux and like the Beatles and whatever, they had two guys come on stage who looked like they just come out of a lab somewhere, and they're like, "This is the movie."
Oh yeah,
they looked absolutely terrified, and the difference there was powerful, but not anymore. That's all dead. Good.
End of motion controls.
Let's do some questions.
All right. Okay. Final thing before we do. What's just some left field prediction of a game that's going to show up at E3?
Until Dawn.
Sam Millen, hit me with something.
Gears.
You see Gears?
Alien Isolation 2.
That wouldn't make any sense at all, but I like it.
Exactly.
I like that a lot. I always want a new single player Final Fantasy. I want to see where they're going after.
They can't. They've ruined it.
I reckon we'll see like Final Fantasy 12 HD or something, probably, but I want to see the next big single player game.
Also, hold on, before we go on, Final Fantasy, this reminds me, last year's E3, when I went to one of my very first appointments was for Final Fantasy, and at the end they asked to form a line so you can ask questions to the board, essentially, and one guy stood up and said, when they merged the verses 13 and 15 or whatever it was, and this guy said, "So after all these years, are you still going to trust these guys to actually finish this game?" And I've never seen anyone get shut down so quickly. It was like linebacker mode. People were like, just silence. And it's like, the interpreter was like, "Next question." That's amazing. Anyway, questions, go.
All right.
First one.
All right, we got an email.
Hang on. Will GTA 5 be there?
No.
Oh.
What, for
They never usually do, though, do they?
They wouldn't do E3. They don't
Has
need.
to be there, surely.
They don't
It has
need
to be
E3.
there.
Where's the PC version?
It's big enough to announce off its own merit. They don't need E3 to promote that.
Yeah, but roll out on stage. Spencer's there, like, look
Red
at
Dead
this.
Redemption
Give a high
2.
five.
Dan Houser.
Red Dead Redemption 2, Microsoft, money hat. There it is.
It's a big money hat.
Big money hat. Well, they already paid 50 million for the DLC, so...
Question?
Go.
Okay.
Tell me what you think about this. I got my own diamonds and I got my own rings. Oh, right. I see. Yeah, cut that.
Okay, I've been censored once again. So we'll
No,
move on
don't
to-
fucking even refer to it.
I haven't. Well, that bit's cut out now. Now everyone knows it's to do with you, Dave. Oh,
Right, let's do some questions.
Tell me what you think about this.
Darren Worrell asks, "What are your podcast plans during E3?"
We'll try and do some podcasts. Next.
Just it's worth pointing out. I think it'll be after.
We will do
every-
podcast stuff all the time.
As much as we can do, we'll do.
Yeah, after every
Back
game,
off.
the-
What's his name?
Darren Worrell.
Back off, Darren. Fucking hell.
Last
Calm
year when we
down.
did them after each day on the show floor, I think they ended up going up about like 7 or 8
Crazy
a.m.
time in the
normal
morning.
I say normal time.
UK time.
British
They're
standard,
difficult to
summertime.
do. It's not impossible, but with this, like, there's a lot of kind of late night stuff this year. So we can't say who, but on each of the kind of days, there's a lot which would go into the time which usually podcast. So what we can do, we will. But you know, if we're 10 o'clock local time and we're coming out, we
What
got.
are we hoping to do? We're hoping to do reactions to each of the conferences, hopefully.
Round up shit.
And yeah, just
and possibly like quick reactions to games that we've seen every now and then. So I think, there'll be quite a few, hopefully. More.
if all goes to plan.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, we got an email here from Rachel who says, "Hello, everyone. I'm a big fan. That's very nice of you. Can I please request more of Dave's posh sexual voice? It's amazing. It should have its own section."
Darling?
Dave, you wrote this. Come
Darling.
on now.
Dave, can you say, hello, Rachel. Thanks for your email.
Hello, Rachel. Thanks for your email. Is that the right voice? I'm not even
That
sure it
sounded
is.
so perfect.
Yeah.
Darling. Hello, Rachel.
Dave,
Thanks
that
for
sounded
what
very
you-
threatening.
Yeah.
It sounded like you were a villain.
It's
in
been
an
so
Anne
long
Rice
since
novel.
we've done those videos. Why haven't we done a podcast
It's a
video?
monthly thing, isn't it? It's only just.
What's the voice? I can't even get the voice.
A bit lighter, a bit airier.
Oh,
You
that's
need
the
to,
one,
you need
isn't
to
it?
slap your thighs as
That's
you say
it. Right there.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah, nice. There you
Hello,
go.
Doing
Rachel.
hand motions.
Thank you for the email. Wonderful.
I'm so glad you
Oh, it's so creepy.
I did email her saying that you'd promised 100% to do something in this podcast.
I'll carry on talking like
So that's
this.
excellent.
The
Okay,
rest of the day.
let's see. We've got one from James on Twitter who says, "We be taking Chris to meet the pilot and have a look around the cockpit on the plane."
Is that a euphemism?
I don't know, but you can't. You can't do that anymore. They don't. Let
You
you
can't do
it.
that ever. It's illegal.
I did it when I was younger.
Didn't
I
Adam do
remember
that?
I'm
Hasn't
not
Adam got a
joking.
picture of him in the
Oh,
cockpit?
no, move
Adam's
on.
flying the plane.
Move on.
It's terrifying.
He doesn't know when, but he is.
Let's see. I didn't really.
It's gonna go really
didn't really
fast.
pick too many questions because.
What is the next question? We're told what?
Let's tell a story about when we went out for a meeting on the first or second day after myself and Stephen W. Burns went
right.
out for a drink.
We've told this story a
Or
million
10.
times,
Yeah.
Dave.
All right, okay, fine. We'll leave it
Shoving
then.
cloth
What's
on
the
our-
We
fuck?
can't
Give,
have
give us
that
one more
again.
question.
No.
I've got a Miller Instinct question if you want to.
Go on then, do that.
Okay, hit with the jingle. Miller Instinct. Slightly topical, with us going to California and all.
California.
Knows how to
Clark.
party.
Clark asks, a hard one here. Name 3 things that Americans do better than Brits.
Everything.
That's not 3 things.
No,
that's
not-
everything.
correct.
Every and thing.
You think they do everything?
Wrestling. They do pro wrestling better than they do gyms.
What's the British wrestling
better.
scene like?
Terrible.
I think I went to watch
no,
one
you know,
in
there's,
Hadley, Victoria Hall.
there's good wrestlers, but there's no money behind it, so it lacks the pizzazz and the wow. But the wrestlers are really good. Wrestling, gyms, and food.
Yeah, the food's pretty good.
There you go.
Oh, the food.
Yeah.
That's the highlight of E3.
You,
Just a massive burger
Some people
Sam-
forget to eat,
and steak for dessert.
but yeah, that was easy. That wasn't hard at all. America's just a better place. I'm
No.
annoyed I wasn't born in America.
What?
Really?
this is most of
They do
something
better
to
video
Sam,
producers.
They do
over there.
better weather.
Fuck you. Fuck you. They get paid more over
Yeah,
there.
you'd
David.
never get a
Scam.
job over in America. That wouldn't happen.
I'm going to get a job over
You'd get a job in America, just not as a video producer. We walk into Wendy's and you'd be there. Good afternoon, sir. How can I help you?
Why,
Give me some fucking eggs.
why are you saying
I'll
this?
have 12 eggs.
They do that. They love it. Denny's. All right. Thanks for that. Who did it? Who sent it through?
Don't know. Don't care.
All right. Good attitude to have there.
Incredible
Oh,
stuff.
I've just remembered the fucking omelettes.
Yeah, multiple people in our group requesting omelettes with like how many eggs?
12 eggs or something like that.
Fucking hell.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There is nothing wrong with that, to be honest. I'm
The
converted.
waitress started crying,
Good.
Simon.
She did start crying.
She did not start crying.
She did, I saw
Tears
her.
of joy.
Yeah.
So excited about making these omelettes for these lovely people.
About them gains.
Yep.
You are actually going to the gym as well, aren't you?
Every day.
The week.
Yeah, it's all planned.
And there's a swimming pool at the hotel, so we're going to do, swimming in the morning.
Is it really?
Do I need to bring my trunks?
Yeah. Oh, Dave, amazing.
Oh, God.
My little speedos.
Sunday swim day.
Oh, that is a terrifying image. Jesus Christ. I don't think I can handle that. Yeah, I think that probably wraps it up then for this pre-E3 podcast.
Pre-3.
Are we going to do another pre-E3 podcast?
I hope
I
not.
don't think so.
Oh.
Shall we do one
I
from
thought
the
we were
plane?
so excited we couldn't stop talking
We'll do one on the
about it.
plane.
Yeah.
We're in the galley now. We're stealing balls of pork. They're not liking it.
Are you allowed to turn electronic equipment on?
I don't know the rules
whilst on
now.
the plane?
Changes
It's
all the time.
changed,
Yeah,
hasn't it?
yeah.
You can't go in the cockpit. You can't turn on microphones.
Yeah, you can't just wander into first.
This isn't
and go,
my America. That's what.
You can't have sex in the toilets anymore either.
Too small.
I don't think you ever could.
I thought that was a
Too
thing.
I think it's just
I'm
frowned
not sure.
upon. I'm not sure it's a
No,
rule.
it's definitely
I think
illegal.
I
You
thought the Mile High
What-
Club and all that was a
What,
thing.
why,
You get
how can that be
arrested.
illegal?
Who's gonna?
Because it's indecent, isn't it?
But no,
where'd you
'cause no
get?
one
Where'd
can
you get
see.
charged? In
Look,
the
it's
country that you
illegal.
flew
Wrap
from,
up the
or one
podcast.
that you right? Okay.
Dave's going to find out whether it's illegal or not.
Once again, horrifying images. Dave in his swimming trunks. Dave.
Well, that's not a nice thing to say, is it?
Well, anyone,
Finish this podcast, man.
Anyone in swimming trunks.
Wait till I get you home. You know.
Some people would love to see me in my swimming trunks.
Excellent. That's the Video Gamer UK podcast. Next time you hear us, we will be in and around E3 talking about those video games that we see, and it's going to be ace, and everyone is pumped.
I'm pumped.
And
Genuinely.
so excited, actually, that we'll probably have to leave this room now.
I'm going to have a heart attack before I can get there.
Yeah, me too.
All right, excellent. Thank you for joining me, gentlemen. David Scammell,
Ah, wonderful.
Simon Miller, and Stephen Burns.
So excited.
Goodbye.